Alrighty, welcome back everyone. My name is LaughNgamez. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 replay cast. I'm excited to get into this one. It's going to be a Terran versus Zerg on the map Darkness Sanctuary. You may be seeing the map Darkness Sanctuary and say, wait a second, that's an older map. It is a bit of an older replay, but I honestly just couldn't resist casting it. So it's a Terran versus Zerg, spawning down in the bottom right-hand side of the map. It's been a long time since anyone's really seen him. It's QXC. QXC, I mean, you guys may know he was was a very popular guy in the StarCraft 2 scene. Took a step back. As you see in chat, he's working on a board game. He's had a lot of success with it, but that's really cool. But apparently he also hops on ladder every now and then, and that's where this replay is from. Now his opponent, spawning down the bottom left-hand side of the map, it's JimRising. So JimRising, a popular player, streamer, he's very consistent. So we'll see sort of what's the old dog going to be able to do versus JimRising here. Now, the map is Darkness Sanctuary. They're spawning at horizontal spawns. So, as far as how this lines up, I mean, we'll see how aggressive QXC is. There you go. In this replay, QXC saying, I started playing, again, a month or two ago. This game is hard. This replay is from August. So that means he started playing back around in June or so. Now, yeah, so I'm excited to see how this matchup's going to go. QXC just going for the standard gas into barracks. Everything's seeming normal. Now, it is the 4-player map. Look at these guys talking about this game. All right, but yeah, JimRising moving out with his overlord, saying Zergimba, game's hard for Terran, but okay, they're agreeing that Protoss is OP, but that's just those guys. All right, but good to see there's some friendly banter and agreement there, but as far as the builds go, Reaper Expand coming out of QXC here. You want to know where your opponent is, so he's sending an SCV north. I imagine he'll be sending the Reaper to the left. Now, the Overlord will eventually scout this for JimRising. It was the second Overlord out. Now, yeah, we'll get into the game and see really what these two guys are going to do. JimRising's getting out his speed, his Zergling speed. That pool is jiggling. So that basically means he's going to have out the quick Zerglings. And he's just sticking with one drone and gas, which is sort of the why not, I may make a tech structure later amount of gas. Now, we'll see. The Reaper for QXC is coming on in here. Gets a nice grenade down. Forces JimRising to turn a drone into an extractor. And this Reaper getting across the map, just jumping up and down there. Now, we'll see. How's this Reaper going to get on out of here for QXC? Picks off one of the lings there, which is very nice. Not like you're gonna get too much else. Gonna micro that. Another drone is running out. It's gonna move towards taking the third base, actually in the direction of QXC. So that's a little bit ambitious, but oh, QXC tries to grenade it and block it. Doesn't quite get it, so that getting up for JimRising is very nice. Now QXC on his side of the map, he's making a Marine to make sure that this Overlord can't just hang out too long, can't overstay his welcome. Then Hellion's following it up, so pretty standard Hellion follow-up here. And then we'll see what else QXC is going to go on into. It's actually an extra factory here. So he is going to be playing mech, it looks like. Now this could be sort of Hellion Cyclone, or it could just be mass Hellion Tank, something like that. Really, we'll just have to wait and see. It's interesting to see what QXC is going to bring out. This Reaper still just sharking around. QXC doing a good job keeping that alive. And now Hellion's going to be popping up at this third base. Going to be engaging that Queen. That Reaper didn't quite fully heal up though, so has to be careful. Now it is going to be a Cyclone on the way for QXC. And he's actually on a double Cyclone production, which is pretty interesting here. Working away on this base a little bit, just bruising the Queens just a tiny amount with that grenade. But 3 Cyclone production on the way. So we'll see what he's... I mean, yeah, I mean, this has just got to be like a Cyclone all-in, but this will be a bit of a different Cyclone all-in. It's going to hit rather early, since it's not like... since he's just starting producing the Cyclones, but it's not going to be just like mass Cyclones. So this is, I mean, it's hard to say, but this is kind of like the middle road all in. Just the fact that he didn't go for the extra reactor and started making the Cyclones right away. But JimRising has seen this, so he's got to be prepared for this. He's got a Roach Warren on the way. Cyclones are decent versus Roaches in low numbers. The Reaper will really help out with its grenade. QXC has kept that alive. He's still just poking and prodding, but I mean, there's really just Queens here, and now 2 Cyclones are going to come on in, so this is going to be pretty good for QXC, forcing the Queens of JimRising back, and suddenly JimRising made a few too many drones as they're getting gunned down at his third base. Another Cyclone rallies forward, and the Queens are so bruised. It looks like that QXC may just want to pick off this base. The queens are once again going to come on in and try and fight this. They're all so bruised right now. One or two transfuses can go down there to heal him up. Hellbat's now morphing for QXC as he got up in armory, so it's going to be really tough for JimRising to break this. A queen pops down, and I think this third base is going to go down. Now, a lot of roaches did just pop on out. This base is so low on health. I mean, it looks like QXC can pretty much just right-click on this and then maybe go home. The roaches, I mean, JimRising has made a fair few roaches, so QXC will have to turn and go home, but on that factory, he's actually, since he didn't have the reactor, he's just going right into a tech lab, so he'll be able to make a tank. He's getting up an extra factory and a third base. Now, he's just got to be careful and hold on right now. He sees these roaches coming across the map. He will have to hold the high ground. Now, there is an overlord here, which is going to give JimRising vision, which will certainly help him push up, but he's actually just going to decide to go on back. He's double expanding to follow this up. That's sort of one of the Zerg choices when they do lose a base. Okay, now we'll see what else is going to be coming on out for QXC. He's moving out with the Hellion runway, which is always nice to see. Hellions can always get damage done in the game of Starcraft. Now, more factories on the way. Cyclones cleaning up an overlord. So, I mean, QXC is going to be playing this mech style. But, yeah, we'll see what else he gets into. Maybe just planning for a later on push. But he's moving in with his few Cyclones. Gonna pick off this Overlord of JimRising. Oh, the Overlord now just not quite over the blocker there. So, nice pickoffs there for QXC. Seems to be playing pretty good. Now, more factories on the way. So he will be finishing those up. He's going to be on 5 factory production, which is pretty aggressive on 2 bases as far as the commitment goes. Now he's going to be focusing down some of these creep tumors. Hellions do take a while to kill off some creep tumors, so not actually going to be able to kill them all off there. Now JimRising on the other side of things is going to be making just a whack load of roaches. He really effectively is on 2 bases for now because he's not really droned up at all. He's on 42 drones versus QXC's 55 SCVs. And interestingly enough, QXC is expanding to the left. I mean, both these guys, their bases are just going to be a stone's throw away from each other. Now, we'll see. I mean, QXC is going into tanks and whatnot, so he should be safe in this regard. But look at these Hellions. They're going the long way around. And suddenly, they're going to find some of the drones, as JimRising has been producing a few more. But a lot of them are going to be getting roasted. There's some nice pickoff for QXC, getting some of those. And now these Hellions, they can just make their escape out. So QXC using that map well. Now, QXC just building up a good tank count. He's getting up 2-1 as he already has his +1 attack. But now he's on 3 bases, so he's in a pretty good spot so far. Just killing off that base early on with the Cyclone aggression seems to have put him in a good spot. That was a nice Hellion run by. Now JimRising, he's going to have Roach speed, which is going to help him to react to future Hellion run bys, but he is playing very defensive now, making sure to try and cover all of his bases. Now QXC trying to wall out the Zerg creep there. So that just goes to show how close these guys' bases are. Scan going down for QXC, just seeing what's on the way. And so far for JimRising, it's just a ton of roaches. We'll see if something else comes out on the way. Because, I mean, just roaches versus mech. I mean, mech generally wins. Ravagers are decent, but this many roaches is quite a commitment to JimRising. Hellions moving in, cleaning up some more creep for QXC. Just wanting to deny that as much as possible. Alright, now as far as what's going on, QXC getting up another 4th command center and going up to 7 factories here, just producing non-stop. I mean, I imagine he's going to be hitting a pretty strong tank Hellbat push. He's moving to the north here, maybe to break down these rocks, or just anticipating this little squad of roaches and ravagers. I mean, there's just a handful of roaches and ravagers, and there's actually just enough Hellions to engage this from the looks of it, and there will be. So QXC going to get on top of this army of JimRising. Okay, now some more Hellions moving out. Looks like QXC is actually bringing all the Hellions as he's going to be pushing on in. He's actually just got so many Hellions. Okay, now the tanks are going to have to get set up, and they are going to do just that. But JimRising may just be committing onto this. The Hellions not Hellbats, but they're still going to be doing a decent job tanking. Few corrosive battles go down, but JimRising taking out a lot of hits from those tanks there. However, he did clean out a fair few. I think it was 2 that died there. There, got a couple of tanks, and now JimRising actually is going to be putting on the aggression to QXC. Gonna be breaking down these rocks. Tanks for QXC are gonna want to get set up. I mean, he's still got a pretty good army here, and he's got the 2-1, so these tanks are gonna be putting out a lot of damage right now. JimRising is pushing in. The tank's putting out so much damage, though, versus this army, dude, because Roaches and Ravagers just getting shredded. JimRising may be overcommitting a little bit. He's now going into Aspire, getting up his 2-2, but I feel as if he maybe needs to be heading towards Vipers or something like that in this situation, or Hydras. Hydras fare better versus tanks than Roaches do. Now, we are seeing QXC is retreating. Okay, it looks like JimRising going for a small counterattack. This army is so bruised right now. And it doesn't look like these units are going to get too much done. That Thor just says, get on out of here. And actually, there's Thor friends show up. So 3 Thors. QXC's army is just looking so strong right now. Just this strong Terran mech army. He's getting up the 4th base. So he's going to have what he needs to keep sort of on growing. Now look at this. This Thor just... Thors are actually so good. JimRising out on the map with these Roaches right now. And there's a lot of tanks here, though, and he can't commit, but he's actually going to decide to. Quickly regrets that, as those tanks for QXC getting a lot of shots off. Okay, now we see 5 Thors out for QXC. He's just got such a strong army. There is a Spire finishing up, but with 5 Thors, Mutalisk ain't going to get nothing done besides a bit of harassment. And then QXC is just heading into 3-2. 10 Mutalisk are on the way for JimRising. Okay, so we'll see what they're able to get done. I mean, there is no missile turret, so maybe they can get the element of surprise, but then there's still the main ground army. Yeah, they'll be able to work around the Thors a little bit, but JimRising still does have this big Thor problem. Okay, now another Hellion run by going to be attempted from QXC by the look of it. Just always want to be keeping those on as a meching Terran. Now, Mutalisk are popping out. JimRising's going up to 14. These Mutas are going to be scouted. They're shutting down the Hellions, but this means that QXC is going to immediately start building missile turrets there. And look at that, just one at every base. Or actually a few at every base now. So he's really taking this seriously, and rightfully so. And suddenly, the fact that the Mutalisk didn't get the element of surprise off is going to mean that this is just so much rougher for JimRising, because this was a big commitment. Like, that could have been, I don't know, like 20 Hydras or something like that. But the fact that he's not going to have those is going to make fighting this ground army really rough. I mean, both players are going up on supply, but the fact that there's just going to be 6 plus 3 Thors, these mutas cannot get in this fight. JimRising now going into Swarm Host, which is something that I like to see. The creep is still also buying him a lot of time. Mutas come on in, they actually engage a missile turret. But SCV is giving that a good hug, and 2 missile turrets at every base is really helping out. These mutas are going to focus down this one. However, there is another turret they can retreat to. Just going to repair that up. So a few Mutalisk have already died to the missile turret. Actually, 3 in total. I'm going to focus down a supply depot, get a few SCVs. And now JimRising hitting in a few spots. He's actually working on the armories here. I mean, mutas, they don't have too much damage, and suddenly 4 Thors are coming on in. So these mutas, I mean, maybe they can get the armory. It's going to be close. They actually do deny the +2 armor, but these Thors getting shots off. Those +2 Thors still dealing a lot of damage there. Mutas fly on into the missile turrets, a bit of miscontrol there. QXC has taken the Muta threat very seriously, and suddenly now there is pretty much no Mutalisk threat. 5 more Mutalisk are on the way here for JimRising, so he's going to try and rebuild that count, try and use the Swarm Host to get something done, but, oh man, I mean, these Roaches, they're just running back and forth across the map, kind of like their heads cut off. As the JimRising not sure what to do versus this big mech army. I mean, a wave of Locusts can always do good, but QXC's army is just going to still so scary. He's even building another armory. And then he's getting up some Vikings, getting out even just more Thors. So QXC's force is so strong. We'll see. I mean, the Locust Wave may be able to get something done right now. Actually going to get a nice round, pick off a tank here. But suddenly the main army of JimRising, the Thors, hold on, I don't usually pause a game, but let's take a look at what happened to this Mutalisk. Okay, now where are those, where did this engagement go? These mutas are just, they're not going to be long for this world. Now, so it looks like JimRising came on in here. He was just looking for anything he can get, but this mech army at QXC was too big. So the Locust Wave goes on in, and then, I mean, this is what happens to these poor Mutalisk right now. The Thors just launch off their volleys, and they're pretty much just gone instantly. All the Thors gone. The Roaches say, we're not having none of that. They retreat. Locust getting a bit of damage done. They pick off a tank or two, but the main ground army for QXC cleaning out all these Roaches. These Thors are just so strong. +3 Thors, they just put out so much damage. All right, now suddenly, I mean, JimRising making 24 more roaches, never going into Hydras or anything. I mean, he's maxed out. He's got a big bank, but roaches, I don't think they're just the choice. Making Ravagers, it's like, all right, because, I mean, Corrosive Bile is hard for mech to dodge, but JimRising sees this army coming his way. He can't engage this. These roaches actually a little bit misrallied, so a lot of them getting bruised. There's a wave of Locust, which is going to help out. However, I mean, this ground army for QXC is just so strong right now. He's going to be pushing on in. JimRising going to try and surround this. Locust going down. Ravager's going to put some Corrosive Vials out, but there's still so much Terran, and it's just so strong. He's trying to pick off some of the Thors. Some of them are getting bruised up, but the ground army is not enough for JimRising as QXC manages to take it there, beating down JimRising just with such a strong mech army. If you guys enjoyed this cast, feel free to leave a like. I'm always excited to cast an old guy like QXC. Not that he's literally old, just an old face in the StarCraft 2 scene is always awesome to see. And when I see one of the replays, I just have to say, I gotta cast that. I gotta see how that went. Now, yeah, thanks to everyone for watching. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoy the content. Feel free to subscribe, as I'm always putting out more. I shall see you guys next time.